American business magnate, the founder of assembly line method, the person who first made an automobile that middle-class people could afford, the person who has a great part in America's economic growth. Hey guys, welcome to the 37th episode of Success Stories 100. Motivate yourself by watching one success story every day. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed yet. And today we're going to talk about the success story of Henry Ford, one of my favorite industrialists. Henry Ford was born in 1863. His father William was a farmer. William wanted his son to become a farmer like him, but Henry Ford, since from his childhood, was so much interested in automobiles and machineries. Whenever he got something, he dismantled and reassembled it. When he was 12, he saw a steam engine for the first time. He immediately learned everything about it. He also repaired watches for his friends and neighbors. But his father was not pleased to see him working on the machineries and repairing watches. Due to their differences, when Ford was 16, he moved out. He worked at a machine shop for $2.50 a week. He worked there for 9 months and learned about all the machines. And once he felt that there's nothing left to learn in that company, he left the company. And then he joined Detroit Dry Dock for $2 a week. He did not worry about how much pay he got. He just wanted to learn. In 1882, he went back to his hometown and started working on the farm because of his father. In 1883, he was hired by Westinghouse to service their steam engines. He worked there for 2 years. After learning everything about steam engines, he made a car that runs on steam engine. The first car he made only went 40 feet and failed. He understood that steam engines are too heavy and also dangerous. He read so many books and kept on experimenting. He was not getting everything he needed in that small town, so he moved to Detroit in 1891. He started working on Edison Illuminating Company. He got $45 a month and he did not get much time to work on his experiments. He worked all day at his office and all night at his house building his dream engine. After 5 years of hard work, in 1896, he finally made a working engine. He named it Ford Quadricycle. He took it for a test drive and it went really good. In the same year, Henry Ford met Edison and discussed about his engine. Later, Edison and Ford became good friends. He sold his first car to a man named Charles and he made another one which was much better than the first one. He took that car and traveled from Detroit to his hometown. Once Ford understood how these cars would be useful to people, he decided to mass produce it, but he didn't have money. And one person called Murphy invested and he also got few other investors. He started his company, Detroit Automobile Company. But in just 4 months, Ford quit his company because the investors wanted him to build costly cars, but Ford wanted to build cars that are low in cost. Then in 1901, he started a new company. He first built 2 different race cars. These race cars brought so much attention to his new company. Then he introduced a new model, Model A, in low cost, but nobody bought the car for nearly a month. Then the first car was sold, and then before they could realize, so many cars were sold. 1,700 cars were sold in the first year, but the next year they sold only 1,600 cars. Investors said not introducing a new model was the fault, but Henry Ford said, no, our cars are too costly. That's why people are not buying it. So he reduced the cost from $1,000 to $600 and $750, and 8,000 cars were sold. Henry Ford's goal was mass production. He wanted to produce 1,000 cars a day. Although his car was so good, it was so heavy. One day when he was watching a race, he noticed that a car flew a little bit up from the ground. The car collapses and Ford went near that car and looked at its materials because the car needs to be lightweighted in order to go like that. He found that the metal used was vanadium. Nobody produced vanadium in US. He sent his people to England, bought vanadium, worked hard for 3 years, and then came Model T. Should I even mention the success of Model T? For nearly 20 years, Model T was the king. Nearly 1.5 crores Model T cars were sold. Since the demand was so high, production needed to be fast. And in 1913, Henry Ford introduces the world-famous assembly line production method. Nobody has ever done something like that before. Until then, people will bring all the parts and assemble the car in one place. But in assembly line method, the people will be standing in a place and the car will be moving in a belt. It took only 2 minutes 30 seconds to assemble a car in assembly line method. His dedication, hard work, commitment, everything paid off. He changed the way people looked at automobiles. Definitely, every one of us need the kind of commitment, patience, hard work, perseverance Henry Ford had. And one video is definitely not enough to talk about this great man. I just gave you guys an overview of his life. I strongly suggest you guys to read his book, My Life and Work, written by Henry Ford himself. Thank you.